Father God, we just come to you today, just thanking you for who you are. Thanking you for being Lord over our lives, God. We know that there is no other name higher than your name, God, and we just trust, come together in agreement, knowing that this podcast will be blessed. Thank you for bringing these like minded women together, God. Thank you for just being in order and just in authority and just taking over this episode in a mighty, mighty way that I know that you will, God. Let your words speak through us. Let the light shine through the words that we say, God. Let this episode be filled with light, love, just compassion, God. We ask that you step in ways that we never could have imagined, God. Let the words be articulated according to your glory and according to your will, God. Bless these women and everything that they do, God. We pray that you just step in and do supernatural blessings in every aspect of their life, the many things that they have coming, the things that they are aware of, the things that they have no idea about, God. We just ask that you just do all of these things and that we just honor your name in everything that we do from here forward. In your name, Jesus, we pray. Amen. What's up, beautiful people? Welcome to another episode of the Beautiful Vessels podcast. I'm your host, Sydney Therese, and I am so glad that you decided to tap into another episode. If this is your first time here, welcome home. This is a space where we talk about real life experiences and have real conversations about faith, healing, rediscovery, and becoming the woman that God has called us to be. Today is a special episode that I can't wait to tap into. I have two special guests, Justina and Ashley, who will join me and talk about their powerful work in the mental health industry. But before we dive in, I would love to learn more about you both. So could you both tell me your backstory and how you came to get into this industry today?
Go first. Um, Me, I was pretty much going through life not knowing that I had anxiety. And so just my journey and walk with that led me to be a person that wanted to help others because if I went through it, I know other people would appreciate it, the work that I did for myself to lead them along the way. So that alone is what got me in my industry of being a life coach, a certified life coach that helps people manage anxiety.
Love that. And Ashley?
Well, for me, as early as I can remember, for some reason, people always felt comfort in speaking with me and just disclosing their secrets. And I didn't take that lightly. You know, when people entrust that very personal and intimate space with me, I felt the need to show up, and it's definitely a passion of mine, and I'm always here to support and create safe, non-judgmental spaces for people. So it's a passion.
Gotcha. And just so that everyone can have a better understanding of the work that you do, could you comment further on who you actually work with and what it actually looks like in the day to day life as a therapist and as a life coach?
Okay. So I am a middle school counselor. So I work heavily with adolescents throughout my days, but on the weekends and in the evenings, I work with adults in a lot of couples, mainly through anxiety, depression, marital issues,
Yeah,
so the work is extensive.
I can imagine it's extensive. And Justina?
I love that she started off with her field because most of my clients begin with a therapist. But with life coaches, we do the forward motion where now what are the actions that you have to do based off of what you learned and pick through with your therapist. So with my clients, we pretty much do hands-on work where I hold them accountable to whatever it is that they need to fix, the emotion from their trauma. Like, let's work on that emotion. And then we do the steps to get them to the next side.
I love that. I love that. That's honestly really, really great because it seems like your work actually does complement each other. I didn't even recognize that.
Yes,
I didn't know that. So
absolutely.
now our audience knows as well. So Justina, so I'm so glad that you are here with us today. Could you just expound a little bit further on a moment in your life where you felt like you knew that you wanted to do this type of work?
If I can make the journey short, just being at my 9 to 5 and feeling like I was sitting on my calling. I had every sign that told me like, this is, this is your seed to something bigger. And I would just always not find passion in my job, but like she said, I was sitting here helping people day to day with what they're going through and finding passion in that. And then I also had the connection with, hey, I've gone through this and I felt alone in this. So I started off helping people with all different issues, but what I felt connected with the most was anxiety. And once I chose that niche, it was just an abundance of the connection where I knew this is what I was supposed to be doing, because everything started to flow once I pinpointed that area. And so that was the moment when I was at work and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start this business venture and just see where it goes and do what I need to do to be certified. And with my experience, plus because it makes me over certified with the experience, but then got into the lane and it just has been amazing.
Gotcha. So you would say that your experience and what made you want to tap into it was actually you experiencing some anxiety yourself.
Yes, just experiencing it myself and not really feeling like I had the outlets that actually helped me at the time. But going through it and working through it and knowing, hey, whatever I didn't have, I want to provide it to somebody else.
Wow.
And so that was the fuel that had me really go deeper into that.
That's really, really great. Ashley?
Yeah, to kind of piggyback on what she stated, we have a tendency to become what we wish we had, or become the people in which we wish we had connected with during certain seasons and spaces of our lives. So for me, I didn't realize how much, and I now can identify it and speak boldly, that I suffered with high function depression, as well as a bit of anxiety mixed with that. And to know what that looks like and how the symptoms doesn't always look traditional, that people could be suffering in silence and you not really know. In the world of a difference, just a simple conversation or a check-in with someone can make. And I really just wanted to show up for people the way in which, I wish people would have shown up for me, but I have to take accountability in knowing that I didn't take ownership.
Yeah.
Especially with high function depression, it looks like productivity. It looks like accolades and accomplishments and degrees.
We all probably have experienced that at some point.
Yeah.
And just to add on that to what she's talking about, a lot of people don't really know that they're going through anxiety or depression because it's a way of life. When you're living it out, it becomes a part of your identity. So like she said, for me, it was overachievement. It was just not being present in moments. It was just living a certain way and being comfortable, but it was coping.
Yes.
It was coping.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially because we live in this world that says like, oh, you got to have everything all figured out and you got to have this ready. If you're not doing any of these things, then you are not accomplishing things.
You're not.
You're not strong. You're not powerful. You're not this. You're not that,
Absolutely.
So just taking that time, from what I'm hearing, taking that time to really sit with yourself and deal with anxiety and have these hard conversations are where these breakthrough moments actually can happen.
Yes.
And where they actually can occur. And I honestly feel like that is extremely, extremely beautiful. Another question for you both. Was there ever a moment whenever you questioned if this was really your lane? Like where you said, you know what, this is too much for me. I can't go further. This is just not what I feel like it's for me anymore.
Oh, absolutely. As a counselor in training, and even short thereafter, I got I became fully licensed. I struggled with imposter syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
I'm struggling with it now as a doctoral student, and I think it's a natural experience that we all have whenever we elevate in life or you take on new roles and responsibilities. So I definitely had to work through that. And another piece of that was, I think I was a bit naive as a young counselor of all the heavy lifting that's involved in this profession. So naively, I would just take on clients until I reached a state of burnout. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not showing up as my best self.
Yeah.
So I need to work this thing out. I need to take care of self and I need to pace myself. So, but you work through it. You work through it as a trial and error. You learn, and you work through the imposter syndrome as well, the more experience you gain.
Right.
And for me, it was, of course, imposter syndrome, but it was also just not being able to have that balance with my own mental health because I was taking on everybody else's. And so I would always literally like, is this really for me? Because I'm burnt out, I'm tapped out, my anxiety is worse because I've taken on everybody else's things. I'm not following the boundaries I've set and all these different things. And so I would always just want to throw in the towel. And when I slowly tried to, that's when God would always send confirmation. This is what you're supposed to be doing. It'd be a compliment, a comment, or some kind of booking. I'm like, okay, God, okay, I'll keep going.
Is it funny that that's how that goes? 'Cause I personally have experienced that plenty of times where I questioned myself and I was like, you know what? Do I really want to start a podcast? Like little old me, little old Sydney. But it's interesting the way that you are able to see the way that, this vision and this, calling that you are doing, how powerful it is, even to the extent of that God will go and place that vision in other people.
Absolutely.
So they're able to see it, they're able to recognize it. And I have people come up to me like, oh, you speak so well, or you could do this. And, I'm like, I do, and you question it, but God made us perfectly and wonderfully made for who we are and gave us these talents and these abilities to be able to do these things in a very effective way. And so I just think that everything that you are both are sharing is honestly so beautiful and so relatable. I feel like anyone that watches this episode is definitely going to be able to experience something. They'll be able to see within this conversation that they are able to relate, and hopefully they'll be able to get their breakthrough if they are struggling with this at this moment. So I want to talk a little bit more about your day-to-day and what that looks like emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, because you both carry a lot every day. You carry a lot of different conversations, a lot of different emotions, a lot of different things that people kind of take on within their life. They kind of start those conversations with you. So how do you actually protect your peace and your heart dealing with everything that you have to go through on a daily?
I'd say that it's just that's always a thing that's in work.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, with all your roles that you have, me being a mom, a wife, doing a business, having a career, but it's still just with my fight with anxiety, this is something that you're managing day to day. So it's just knowing I'm human, knowing that even though I'm authority over this matter, I'm still living in it. And so I'm realistic too. It's okay that I'm human, I can manage it and going on. But it's just that mindset of you're human, just telling myself that.
You're human.
Yeah, you're human to be able to function in all the things that you do. So you can be okay with the breakdowns, to be okay when you feel like you fall short with what you show other people. It's like, it's okay. And that kind of keeps you to go forward.
Absolutely. And I also can recognize that. I'm sure that makes you that makes it easier for people to relate to you because you are a mom, because you're a sister, because you're a cousin, because you're aunt. You carry all of these hats, but it makes you real. It makes you vulnerable. It makes you more relatable. And so it actually makes, I'm sure, the powerful work that you both are doing easier, and it allows for people to be able to relate to you. So
Yeah.
I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
Ashley?
I've been asked the question, like, how are you able to take on
All
other
of it.
people's problems all the time and still be functional? And honestly, to be transparent, I don't give myself full credit of a client's healing journey and recovery, right? It's a partnership. It's a partnership not only with the client, but for me, my higher power. So I know that I'm not walking into sessions by just solely my own strength and my own power, but that I'm in partnership with God, and I'm very serious and intentional about praying before I walk into rooms or before I log in online with clients, to make sure that I not only meet their need as best I can, but know when to let go and release and leave the rest up to the client to do their work and God to play his part in the healing process and journey. And that's what keeps me kind of grounded and balanced.
Right.
Yeah.
You absolutely have to. Absolutely have to, because we can carry other people's weight on us, and that may not always be healthy, right?
Yeah.
Hate to say that. That doesn't mean that we don't care about other people's emotions or what they have going on, but we have to be able to take care of ourselves in order for us to be able to take care of other people.
Absolutely.
So I think that is a very, very powerful message. Can either of you both share, or both of you, share a moment in your life where you felt like this moment really changed your view of yourself? Whether if it be that you were once questioning who you were or your purpose or your calling, whatever, you want to share to our audience, what made you feel like at this moment, I have a better view of who I am?
Okay. Well, on my professional journey, I remember working at a counseling center as I was earning my hours, and I was very intentional about telling the supervisor, whatever you do not give me clientels that are like really young children or couples. But I was very stern on, do not give me couples. And But I was one of the therapists with the most flexibility because I would work throughout the weekends. And she ended up giving me a couple. And I remember wrestling the night before the next morning and working with my first couple and being very honest and transparent with a close friend and like, listen, this is my insecurity. I'm a whole divorced woman. So who am I to give guidance to a couple? I still had that perception of myself as a failure, and I failed marriage. So I didn't have anything to lend as it relates to helping a couple out. But the advice that was given to me was that, but you do have perspective, and I get the insecurity, but your experience is a testimony, and you know at least what not to do or what doesn't work.
Absolutely.
And I carried that with me. And it was a simple piece of wisdom that was shared, but it worked wonders for me moving forward and working with couples. And now I love working with couples. So knowing that your pain serves purpose.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
speak about that all the time in the Beautiful Vessels community and how I recognize within my own journey and my own walk with God that my life is not my own.
Yes.
There has been so much that I have experienced that I know that I have to use this story, this knowledge, this lesson to be able to talk to other women about it. And it's ironic, that you go and you meet someone at the grocery store, you meet a friend or whatever the case may be, someone new in your life, and you're able to share this testimony and how you were able to get your breakthrough from what you experienced. And it just makes me think to myself, like, how whenever you are called to do a certain thing, God will literally equip you for that thing.
Yes.
And it will be times whenever you will question and you will say to yourself, okay, I don't know if I can do this, or this isn't for me, or this is ugly,
Yes.
Like, I don't want to go down that road, right? But at the same time, you are forced to, whether it be that you're obligated to. And then at that point, you have a story that you could use. You're able to see how strong you are, how resilient you are, how you can go against the grain, or, whatever breakthrough you needed to get to in order to recognize that you have a story that you can now use. And that's super, super powerful.
He makes us vessels to our callings.
Yes.
And that was something that was always hard for me to accept. And I'm like, how much do I need to go through to help the other person? I'm like, I thought this was enough. But then last year, with my experience, like I tapped into men, women, teens, but I'm like, moms was always like that point where I could help, but it was only so much I could do, I felt. But then, I got pregnant and I went through postpartum depression. And that was just last year. And so just me in that moment, like, you know what I do? Why am I going through this? Like, I help people with this and that. Why am I going through this?
Yeah.
And then just on that journey alone, getting through that and knowing like why he put me in that situation and how I got out. I'm like, now you're a vessel for women who had postpartum depression and you've gone through it, you walked through it. Now you can tell them how you got through it. And it's just another additive and just trusting what his plan is. It's always for a reason. And so it's just that experience really let me go up another launch in my business. Like just the confidence in, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, And so that experience is really what the most recent one that did it for me.
I love that. And I love that you use the word vessel.
Vessel. You got to say vessel to keep moving. I'm like, I'm a vessel. Okay.
The word vessel, I mean, it holds a lot of weight, like it's something you carry it. And I don't think that people recognize exactly what a vessel could be used for. So I just love that you use that language because we are all beautiful vessels. This is the Beautiful Vessels podcast. We all have a story. We are all beautifully, yes. We are all wonderfully and beautifully made according to God's will and His glory for our life, even if we don't always recognize it, or maybe we're ashamed of it, or maybe we just don't want to talk about it, or we feel like it's too dark or it's too messy. At the end of the day, look at you both shining here, beautifully, wonderfully made.
And it's real. He won't give you more than you can bear. And just knowing and trusting that alone is
absolutely, absolutely. I love this conversation. This is like, it's hitting my heart. So I love it. So a lot of women in this community are in seasons of waiting or uncertainty or in transition. So what advice would you give to the woman that feels stuck or unsure of where she is in life right now?
The advice I would give that woman is to just be okay with feeling that way, and not avoiding that feeling, because sometimes people don't want to be stuck in a feeling of feeling inadequate or looking bad because I feel this way. Like I'm a boss or I'm a CEO, I can afford to feel this way. But just encouraging them to sit in that feeling and then explore that. But it's okay to feel that way, so you can tap into the next level in your journey by solving that problem.
Yeah, I love that.
What I've discovered is that that feeling of being stuck is not always truly being stuck. Sometimes you're just in a season to be still.
Yeah.
And we need to make peace sometimes with being still, because I think that's where a lot of the work is being done. I think that's where the transformation happens. And I
Yeah.
think the character is being built. So sometimes you're in a season of hiding, for a greater purpose, and just be comfortable with being still. I think God is He's not more committed to you getting there quicker, but who you will become in the process, and ultimately you carrying out the purpose He has for you. And
Right.
sometimes we have to sit in discomfort for growth purposes.
Right, which is
Yeah.
a lot easier said than
Oh, of
done.
course.
Especially when you view yourself at a different kind of standard, like
Yeah.
I can't go through this. Ego
Mhm.
won't allow you to be still.
Absolutely.
Or the things you tell yourself from the anxiety. So yes, that's really good.
No, that is really, really
Yeah.
great. I love that. So, how would you um, describe your faith journey? How has your faith played a role in your journey and what you have been able to accomplish today?
I think the consistent part of my faith is just holding myself accountable to just trusting God. And just constantly keeping Him involved in what I do. Because I know that when He wasn't involved in all my business moves, I was always looking for fulfillment.
Yeah.
So just staying tapped into what His plan might be for me. What is your will for me? Is this what I need to be doing? Just staying connected during the whole journey has maximized where I've been consistently happy in all that I've done since I've started back with my coaching.
I love that. You got to pray, you got to involve Him. Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. I say if God's not in there, I don't know if I even want to be involved.
You don't. It's gonna look a lot different.
Yeah, I mean, I've turned down working with some people because I was just like, it just doesn't, I didn't feel settled there.
Yeah.
My spirit said, Sydney, that's not the one. That's not the situation. That's not where you should go. And I mean, hey, so be it. But I had so much peace in my understanding of my walk with God that I was like, you know what? I'll be okay.
Yeah.
Yes, that opportunity is not lost. Like God has something greater.
Mhm.
That's just, I'm feeling this feeling because there is a redirection that needs to be had.
Yeah.
But the redirection is going to help me to be more aligned with my purpose.
Mhm.
So I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
Ashley?
I think you all said it. I mean, it's
Okay.
definitely, I mean, my faith is my lifeline. And it's, to echo what you all stated, it's about peace. The older I get, I value peace so much more.
Yeah.
And, I know that if it's not in aligned with God's will, I'm not going to have peace. Or the peace that I may feel like I'm experiencing will be very temporary.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Temporary. Until, then He goes and makes you feel more and more uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
And you got to move because then you're forced to. You're forced to at that point, right?
Yeah.
So whenever someone interacts with your work, whether it be a session, a post, a conversation, maybe your Instagram, your YouTube, whatever socials that you have going on, what do you hope that they walk away with?
I hope they walk away empowered.
Oh.
I always, say that I am a self-proclaimed underdog cheerleader. I like to see people win, but specifically, I love to see people win who other people write off, the misfits. So, I know firsthand just a word of encouragement and having someone pour into you, what difference that can make. So I really just hope, if nothing else, they feel empowered and motivated.
For my followers, I want them to feel seen. So I'm very very intricate on the content where I'm raw about what it is that anxiety looks like. And so just people being able to know like what they really think, I said it, and they already know like, okay, I'm not the only one going through this. So instantly just feeling seen, not alone on the spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. That's the Beautiful Vessels podcast as well. Real authentic conversations, things that people don't necessarily just want to talk about, but we need to talk about.
Absolutely.
Especially because we live in this world where social media just wants to have everything be a highlight reel of everything that's good, and they don't necessarily glorify the bad. They just comment on everything that's good. So I love that you both are creating empowering spaces for people to feel like they have a voice, that they can feel seen, and that they are right where they need to be, really, because y'all both talked about that as well. So we're almost to the end of this episode, but I want to wrap up by asking you, what's next for you? Do you have any upcoming projects or anything that you would like to share with the Beautiful Vessels community? Ashley?
Well, for me, I am on the final stages of a project I've been working on. I have a deep passion for those who are experiencing divorce or have gone through a divorce, and specifically being able to offer some type of perspective from a Christian lens. So I do have a guidebook that's coming out for divorce recovery with a Christian perspective. So that'll be out soon.
And Justina, I heard that you are relaunching your book. Why don't you share your book with our audience?
Yeah, so I will be relaunching my 60-day anxiety guidance journal this spring. It's been out before, but it sold out, and then I just let it be that. But people have been asking for it, and so I think it's very important to get it back out there. It's something that helps women in between their therapy sessions or coaching sessions where they need more work to do. It helps you deep dive the what, the when, the why with your anxiety, if I could say it in short. So it's got a lot of accountability if you want to face your fears. I have activities in here that I would do with my clients. If you want to let go of something, I have activities in here that that you can help you go through. If your cup is full, I help you empty your cup. So it's like your own personal life coach and a workbook.
I love that. I need that book now.
And it's extremely attractive.
It is.
Size.
And it matches her outfit.
Yes, love it.
I love that. I love that. Well,
It'll be coming out this spring.
coming out this spring, make sure that you all stay tuned so that you can get your hands on this book. I love it all. I honestly love it all. I feel like you both are doing such amazing things in your industry, and I can't wait to tap into everything that y'all have going on. And I can't wait for the Beautiful Vessels community to tap in as well. So there will be links to the certain things that they have going on. I will share them in the bottom of this post. So make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe so that you can stay in tune and stay updated on everything that they have coming. We will also be sharing their socials, so their website, their social media accounts, whatever they have going on. I need you to tap in because these are some powerful women that are doing major breakthrough things in their industry. So thank you so much for tapping into this episode. I have thoroughly enjoyed this conversation with you both, and I just can't wait to just tap in a little bit more. Make sure that you all stay connected to these two powerful individuals. Once again, this has been a great episode, and I can't wait to see you next time.